Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Power Core Productions and Podcastings. I'm your host, Javon Harrington, and today we continue with our series crossover of Naruto King of Curses. What if Naruto was a Jujutsu Sorcerer, the Land of Waves arc? This is going to be one of the first canon Naruto arcs that we're going to be covering in this series, although it will be with a little bit of a twist. For starters, Team 7, it's looking a little different, along with the story's themes and trajectory. Now, going forward with this arc and the arc that's going to follow, we will be covering the events of two of the Genin squads in this story. That being the squad with Sasuke, Megumi, Sakura, Kakashi, and that being the Gojo squad that will include Naruto, Nobara, Yuji, and Gojo. We will cover those two arcs this week and next week, and then in the arc that follows, usually where we cover the events of the Chunin exams, that's where the teams are going to cross over and really intersect. With this story, we're not just telling the tale of Naruto with the Nine Tails and Yuji with Sukuna. We're also telling Sasuke's story, Megumi's story. It's a lot more, and the world is being fleshed out in a bigger way. So I do hope that you will appreciate this series with this arc in particular, as this arc will be an example of a non-Naruto, non-Yuji arc. But they will diverge together when the time comes. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Team 7, Sasuke Uchiha, Megumi Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno. Iruka had announced the squad members for Team 7. Sakura was overjoyed. She was going to be on a team with Sasuke and his cool brother. Sakura felt the envy of the other girls in the class all looking at her, none more so than her rival Ino Yamanaka. Ino, if looks could kill, she would have put Sakura in a 12-foot grave, 6 foot being of dug-up dirt, the other 6 because she stomped her in there just to make sure she was dead. They had always vied for the attention of Sasuke, more so than Megumi, although it wasn't like he was a bad option either. The boys were at the top of their class. They were the ire to the other boys and the affection from most of the girls that swooned over them. And for Sakura, she wasn't just going to be with one, she was going to be with 2. She was going to be on the most stacked team ever assembled. Not to mention, she had ranked out as Kunoichi of the Year, so it was only natural that they would all be put on a team together. As the other teams were put together one by one and filed out, they would be waiting in the classroom for their sensei to arrive. For Sakura, she looked over to see the two of them sitting, not really saying much. Of course, they were family after all, so they probably spoke a lot at home. Still, Sakura thought that she should try to break the ice, Try to be cordial. She shyly walked over across the room, extending her hand out to both Sasuke and Megumi. Sasuke looked up. His eyes, something about them. They were dark and cold, but yet at the same time, they looked like they were examining her. Not just her outer self, but as if he could stare into her very soul, like he were trying to uncover some hidden truth. He merely scoffed as he turned his head. Megumi, however, was more cordial, at least extending out his hand for a handshake. Between the two boys, Megumi always was the voice of reason. Sasuke was not one for much talk, and more often than not, it was Megumi that had to get Sasuke to go along with just about anything. Though that wasn't to say that Megumi was necessarily the social butterfly of the two of them. No, you could say he was more awkward than anything else. He wasn't really one to be social, but at the very least, he knew how to conduct himself. In either case, Sakura felt the silence linger between the three of them. So far, not so good. Yeah, you're telling me. Shut up! Sakura had to tap her own head. There was always that inner voice, the inner self of hers that always had to keep her real emotions bottled down. On the inside, Sakura had a lot more that she wanted to say. Like, for one, why was Sasuke looking like that? They were supposed to be on a team. She's the Kunoichi of the year. They should get along well. They complement each other, don't they? So why? Why won't he look at her? Why won't he say anything? Sasuke? The way he acts so emo sometimes. It drives me mad. Sometimes I just want to grab him by his head, his cute, adorable head, and just go, Calm down. Calm down. Everything's going to be fine. I mean, it can't be like this forever. I'm sure we're going to get along well. The three of them waited in awkward silence for almost 3 hours. The other team senseis had already come and gone, and yet they were still waiting. Finally, the door would open as a nonchalant silver-haired shinobi, whose headband covered his left eye, came strolling in. He looked over from a distance to see the three. So, I take it you're Team 7. Yeah, and who are you? Sakura would ask. I'm your captain, Kakashi Hatake. I have to say, from first appearance, you guys are boring. All three students looked at him sideways. First, he was late. Then, he just strolls on in all nonchalant, and he has the nerve to call them boring? But for Sasuke, he glared closely at Kakashi. Megumi could see that look in his brother's eyes. I know what you're thinking. Now's not the time, Sasuke. Fine, whatever. Kakashi would invite Team 7 to the roof, hoping that maybe they could have some helpful dialogue, some icebreakers, kind of easing out of the tension. After all, they were supposed to be a ninja team, right? So, how about a little introduction? Kakashi would offer some about himself, although he didn't really say anything anyway. Sakura went first. When asked about her likes, her dislikes, her goals and dreams, well, she became a blushing, bumbling mess. Well, I like, what I dislike fakers. Like Eno Pig. And my dream? Well, yeah, everyone's got a dream, don't they? You can always come back to it later, Sakura. Alright, boys, how about you? Megumi would speak up next. My name is Megumi Uchiha. In terms of what I like something that's peaceful and quiet. I don't really like to be bothered doing things I don't want to do. My dislikes, people that make me do things I really don't want to do. My goal, I just want to protect what matters the most to me. I don't want people to rule over my life, acting like they own me when they don't. And making sure we stick together. I see. And how about you? Sasuke took a breath. I don't really like or dislike many things, but there are people I don't like, and very few that I do. What I have isn't a goal, it's a dream. that I will make a reality. I will restore my clan. Me and my brother, we're all that we have. We will take back what was stolen from us. And by any means necessary, there is a man that I want to kill. No, I have to kill. Sakura was a bit perturbed by this, but even more disturbing was when Megami backed up that statement. They both looked serious. Kakashi knew exactly where they were getting at. Revenge, one of mankind's greatest curses. Now that the small talk was over, it was time for Team 7 to get to work. First and foremost, they were going to be meeting at the training grounds tomorrow at 4 a.m. He told them to bring their weapons, anything they need for a fight, and to make sure they don't eat breakfast, not unless they want to throw up. With that, Kakashi was gone. He could already feel the contempt looking towards him. He wondered just how much Gojo had said to those boys, recalling his conversation earlier in the day before they arrived. So, that's how the teams are being put together, Kakashi said to Gojo as they walked out of the Hokage's tower. Listen, I'm sorry about... No need to worry about it, Gojo said with a smile. In the end, you're the only adult in the village with a Sharingan. I wouldn't trust them with anyone else. Well, can you tell me anything about them? I mean, you have been raising them. If you can call trying to undo trauma and damage raising. I think you were able to do a fine enough job given your circumstances. You know, I tell myself that when it comes to him, Megami, he's nothing like how his father was. And yet, he's somehow everything like him. The best assessment I can come up with, the massacre, it changed him. It made him more robotic, more logical, if you know what I mean. If anything, I'd say it stunted his growth than anything else. And Sasuke? Kakashi would ask. That boy is a powder keg of explosions waiting to go off. And I honestly don't know what direction those explosions will go into. He has that much hatred? Surprisingly, more so than Megami. Though, I'd say that the difference between the two of them is that Megami was kind of always an outsider. Remember, his mother was an Uchiha, but he didn't know her growing up. Megami was raised with Sasuke, and with him. He might have been there that night, he might have felt the trauma, but for Sasuke it's on a completely different level. And yet, Megami's probably the one thing keeping him sane, the only other Uchiha, at least one he doesn't hate. If something ever happened to him, I don't know what he would become. So have you told them about me? Didn't really have a choice, I hope you don't mind. They kind of have an idea of how the teams are going to be shaped, and I told them what to expect with you. I didn't go into details about how you got it, I figured you want to give that story yourself, but I told them what they should be prepared for. And how about me? I know that you probably wanted to have Naruto in your squad. After all, he is the son of your sensei. I trust Naruto with you. You're the strongest in the village. I know he couldn't be in any better hands, given the circumstances. Have the council made a decision about the boy? Itadori? For now, his execution has been postponed, though I've had to throw a lot of my weight around just to make that happen. You weren't going to let him die. Of course not. I'd be just as much ready to fight through this whole village if I have to. Still, I can't believe that a vessel for Sukuna. I didn't want to think that something like that was possible. Still, it does provide a great opportunity. The fact that he has the capability of holding off the curse. We may never get another chance. But do you really think you can do it? I think we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. For now, my only job is to train my students as best I can. The next day, Sasuke, Megumi, and Sakura would arrive to the training grounds. It was early in the morning and no one had eaten breakfast per Kakashi's orders. They waited. Sakura, looking at the two boys from a distance, she felt more like an outsider than anything else, as if she were in a place where she didn't belong. They seem so incredible. I just know they have potential. Their power. There's probably nothing that they can't do, especially with the Uchiha. They'll gain their Sharingans. I can't be a liability. I don't want to hold them back. They waited until around 9 a.m. when Kakashi would finally arrive. He slung his bag down on a tree stump as the kids would look to him angrily. "Oh, good morning, everyone," Kakashi said. "I'm sorry it took so long. You see, I was on my way here when a black cat scrolled across my path. Because of that, I had to take the scenic route, and while I was, there was an old lady who was tilling her garden, so I had to help her till up her vegetables and—" "I see you just like to make excuses," Megumi said. Nothing gets past you, huh? Unfortunately. And you?" Sasuke didn't say a word. "Well, I see how this is going to go. Alright then." Kakashi would pull from out of his pocket 2 bells. The kids wondered what they were for as he tied them to his waistband. "We're going to do a little exercise." Kakashi sat down 2 box lunches and a timer. "You have till the afternoon to get these bells from me. For the 2 that can get a bell, you get lunch. The one that doesn't get a bell, they get tied to that post while the others eat." "And if none of us get them?" Sakura would ask. "Oh, then you'll all starve, and I guess I'll just be eating lunch by myself." "What's the purpose of the bells?" Megumi would ask. "It's simple. I need to decide which of you is worthy of being a ninja." "Worthy?" Sakura said. "But we passed the Genin test. We're all supposed to be ninja and..." "Is that really what you think? You think that's how this works?" "Miss Haruno, I know that you're Kunoichi of the Year, but you truly aren't that ignorant, are you?" "Ignorant?" Sakura felt a scowl etching across her forehead. "And what do you mean by that?" "What I mean is, we accept the best of the best. I don't have time to train riffraff or those who are only going to slow down the team." It didn't take them long to realize what the bells meant. 2 bells. "So what you're saying is," Sasuke said, "to the ones that get the bells, they go on to be trained by you? Become real ninja?" "Exactly. And the one that doesn't goes back to the academy." "But that's not fair!" Sakura would yell. Life isn't fair, Miss Haruno. This is not the academy anymore. This is the real world. A world filled with enemy shinobi, rogues, cursed spirits, monsters and demons far beyond your comprehension. I don't have time to train the riffraff. I make the rules here. Do you understand? But all you have to do is get the bell. You pass. It's that simple. Sasuke looked to Megami in that moment. I guess you know what we have to do. Yeah, I guess so. Megami looked to Sakura, tears beginning to well up in her eyes as she knew what this meant. They were going to work together. Even if it was impossible, together they both stood a chance. She was the odd person out. With that, Kakashi would tell them that the test would begin. Sakura would immediately run into the forest all on her own, tears streaming down her face. They're just going to abandon me anyway, Sakura thought. I'm just going to be left behind. I did all of this work. And what? Just to be told that I'm not good enough? Well, fine. If they want to be shinobi that badly, then go ahead and do it. And I see you both aren't going to run away with her? Are you really that confident in yourselves? Show us, Sasuke said. Kakashi prepared to pull out a book. I think this is a little above your pay grade, but Makeout Tactics is a fine piece of literature, and lift up your headband, Sasuke said. Are you sure Makeout Tactics is... I said lift up your headband! Before Kakashi knew what hit him, he was pelted by a multitude of shuriken and kunais. Megami had barely seen when Sasuke released his load of shuriken, only for the real Kakashi to appear behind them on a tree limb reading. You're so impatient, Sasuke. Don't toy with me. Huh? Horse! Tiger! Wait, Sasuke, what are you? Fire style! Fireball jutsu! What the hell? Immediately, the tree would be set ablaze as Megami and Sasuke would back up to create distance. Sasuke! Why did you... Because he told us to give it our all, right? We have to get the bell by any means necessary. He knows what he's doing. If he just wants to toy with us, then fine. I don't plan on holding back. I gotta give you points for effort. Kakashi appeared from behind another tree. I have to say, you definitely have the heart of a shinobi. You were aiming to kill. If I don't aim to kill, I won't be able to defeat you. Kakashi of the Sharingan. Kakashi would lift up his headband, revealing his eye. A 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Both boys looked intense, knowing what was going to happen. Without hesitating, both Sasuke and Megami would activate their 1 Tomoe Sharingans. So, you know my name. Of course, Kakashi Hatake, Kakashi of the Sharingan, the man who copied 1,000 jutsu. You know my name, and yet you still want to fight? Sasuke would grin, and Megami would clasp his hands together. We'll pass your stupid test one way or another. Even if we have to rough you up a bit, Megami said. I see where you get your arrogance from. Spending all that time with Gojo really isn't good for you. But don't worry. I'm supposed to be a teacher now. I have to set an example. Break that ego. Sasuke, Megami, pay close attention, and I will teach you the facts of life. This concludes Naruto King of Curses. What if Naruto was a Jujutsu Sorcerer, the Land of Waves arc, Part 1. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Naruto King of Curses. What if Naruto was a Jujutsu Sorcerer, the Land of Waves arc, Part 2. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.